If you're someone currently on a weight loss journey, this video might just be what you need to keep focused in pursuit of your goal. Regardless of what BMI metric you are at right now, we're going to focus on your weight loss through two different strategies that can both work in synergy or by themselves. The first strategy is for the person that is eager to lose weight but doesn't exactly have the most amount of time. Think of this strategy as losing weight without having to track much of anything at all. But what we will be tracking is your step count. When I first began my weight loss journey, for the first 6 weeks I only focused on two metrics. The first one being my step count throughout my normal day, and the second one being my caloric intake. If you're someone who isn't bothered to track your calories, this is completely okay to a certain extent. For anyone in the overweight or obese range, monitoring your step count may be the only metric you need to keep an eye on every day. You may already live a sedentary lifestyle, so your main goal will be to increase your daily activity. As you go through your normal day, as you work or commute, try to get in as many steps as possible. As a complete beginner, I recommend setting your step goal from 3,000 to 5,000 as a good momentum kick, and incrementally increase this goal by 1,000 steps each week. The ultimate goal should be to maximize your steps as realistically as possible in your normal routine, and eventually work your way up to 10,000 steps a day. This strategy can work for anyone trying to lose weight as a side hustle, so to speak, but also keep in mind, if you still don't make changes from your initial eating habits, your efforts may all be for naught. My first recommendation is to first switch your soda drinks to their respective sugar-free version, which can slash your calories by 20 to 25% in one day. The biggest thing to keep note while trying to lose weight with this strategy is the importance of monitoring your weight on a week-by-week basis. Although we're trying to keep analytics to the bare minimum, I recommend keeping track of your weight daily and measuring the weekly average. This is extremely important since our weight can fluctuate on a day-to-day basis, so it's good to see where the average is at. Just don't lose sight of the big picture if you see your weight measure higher than one specific day, and remember that you're not just losing weight, but also revamping your entire life. Weight loss is the goal, but you're also transforming into a healthier and stronger version of yourself day by day. Don't stress too much over the small losses each day, and remember, you can always pick yourself up if you ever fall off the saddle. Think of it as a life transition, not a one and done destination. If you ever start to notice your weight start to stagnate, you only have to think about two things to keep the progress continuous. One is increasing your step counts, or the second is intaking fewer calories. Weight loss is a lot more simple than people make it out to be, but that's all it comes down to. Daily activity, which converts to your body's ability to burn calories, and your discipline to say no to food. If you plateau, change one or both variables and make for adjustments as you see fit. Weight loss is about trial and error. Don't aim for perfection. When you're first starting out, your first priority is seeing how your body responds to your lifestyle changes. For better or worse, you actively adapt when appropriate. Now let's get into the second strategy, which is dedicated for someone who has a bit more motivation to be extremely precise with their weight loss results. Just like the first strategy, you'll be monitoring your weight every day and tracking the differences each week. From an activity stance, step count is not too important, but there's no harm in also tracking this metric. However, what we will be focusing on are direct cardio, your normal strength training, and also tracking your calories as accurately as possible. Let's first talk about direct cardio. Direct cardio is essentially your intention to complete an actual cardio workout, whether that's in the form of incline treadmill walking, swimming, or bike riding. From personal experience, I'd recommend doing incline treadmill walking as your number one source of direct cardio, or training on the elliptical machine. When doing this form of cardio, we also want to keep it light and steady. Regardless of what form of cardio you decide to do, it's important you track the variables you're able to change on a specific machine if possible. For example, if you're using the treadmill, we can track three variables, one being the amount of time we spend exercising, the second being the incline setting, and the last one being the speed of the treadmill. Just like with tracking your step count, you'll want to increase these variables to a high intensity gradually each week. This may mean increasing the incline by 1 each week and also the speed by 0.2. For the amount of time you devote to direct cardio, I believe 30 minutes is a good starting point, and eventually working your way up to 60 minutes for every session. In terms of volume, you can start doing these direct cardio sessions 3 times a week and work your way up to daily sessions. One thing you should avoid is performing your cardio too light, to the point it becomes a bit too enjoyable to do. We're still actively trying to lose weight, so you should be breaking out in a bit of a sweat. And also, if you decide to do incline treadmill walking, don't initially set the speed or pace to what Grandma Josephine would do. Set the speed to what you'd consider a moderate power walk. Cardio aside, you should also dedicate some time to strength training with the intent to build muscle and to progressively overload your muscles. As you continue to lose weight, it's a good idea to sculpt your body to get into the best shape possible. Here are 2 programs you could do, one dedicated for a complete beginner to do at home, and the other for someone to do at the gym. Feel free to pause the video and take note of the programs. You can get full access to more programs on my website, in addition to an extensive guide to help you accelerate your weight loss goal. Now for the last part, dieting. Tracking your calories can be quite tedious for someone to do, but it can be the make or break for someone to push out of a plateau. Let's cover this in simple terms. The first thing we're going to do is set ourselves on a simple calorie tracking app. The app I recommend is Carb Carb Manager, since that's the one I use, or MyFitnessPal. Either works fine. Once you're inside the app, fill in the appropriate profile metrics to get started. What we will be devoting our attention to is the macro calculator. As someone first starting out, I recommend to set this to a -5 calorie deficit to get a feel of what your daily eating will feel like. And as you start to see a slower rate of progress in your weight, slowly increase the deficit to as much as -15%. A good and healthy rate of weight loss anyone can work toward is 0.5 kilos to 1 kilo a week. Remember, we're in it for the long haul, not instantaneous results that will throw you back into where you started. Once everything is set up in the app, now you simply just have to record your meals every day and try to stay within your caloric goal. What will be important to hit on a macro standpoint is your protein goal, so it will allow you to recover from your training and build muscle. Don't worry too much about consuming too much fat or carbs. These are macronutrients that are much more important to track when you're dieting for a competition, not so much for your daily Joe trying to reach a healthy BMI. But that's basically it. People tend to make weight loss much more complicated than what it actually is. Reaching a healthy weight range is simply the characteristic of discipline. Once you take control of your life and develop a good relationship with both food and exercise, you'll be someone who went from zero to hero very quickly, and you'll turn to someone who other people can turn to for advice. Just remember, don't give up. You'll have to use your discipline muscles every day to say no to food and to push yourself to be more active. But that's your only job. Eat less, move more. It's simple.